Vamos começar, gente? Se acomodar aqui. Animados? A gente está muito animado. I'm going to start speaking Portuguese, Marta, just to introduce everybody here, then I will switch to English, okay? Gente, primeiro, muito obrigada pela presença de vocês. A gente sabe que não é uma viagem perto, são muitas horas de voo, mas a gente está muito, muito feliz de estar aqui com vocês hoje. Eu acho que nem todos estiveram aqui conosco ano passado, mas esse é o segundo ano do Partner Transformation Summit, e ele é fruto de uma vontade genuína nossa, do nosso time, de realmente trazer as grandes lideranças de agências do Brasil para o coração, né, da nossa estrutura, da nossa operação, e para discutir os maiores avanços, as maiores tecnologias, e poder oferecer todos os recursos e apoio que vocês precisam para que o negócio de vocês possa ser cada vez mais bem sucedido. A gente está muito, muito animado, são alguns meses de preparação para que a gente possa desenvolver esse conteúdo que vocês vão ver aqui hoje. A gente está com as maiores lideranças do Google, então a primeira apresentação que vocês vão ver é do Gopi, que vai trazer para vocês a visão de AI, ele é o Chief Evangelist AI aqui no Google. Teremos a presença também do líder de Finance para Américas, que é o Suriani, que vai conversar com a gente. A Marta, que está aqui com a gente, que representa, é a líder de toda a operação de GMP para Américas também. Enfim, acho que é uma oportunidade muito, muito, muito estratégica e interessante para que a gente possa não só aprender, mas questionar, trocar, né, com essas pessoas que estão liderando o negócio aqui e levar para casa aquilo que faz sentido para cada um de vocês, tá? Eu espero que vocês aproveitem muito o dia de hoje. Hoje é um dia, o primeiro dia é muito focado nas oportunidades que a gente tem para as transformações do universo de agências, então olhando sobre a ótica de negócios, e amanhã é um dia em que a gente vai olhar também para muitos insights de indústrias. Então eu acho que vocês vão ter conteúdos muito relevantes que vocês podem aplicar não só para o negócio de vocês, mas para o negócio dos clientes de vocês, tá bom? Now I'm going to switch to English just to present you all. Here we have Marta, that leads the GMP business in America, Gopi, who leads he is our Chief AI Evangelist. He's going to be our first speaker. And we have Kendall here and Mike, everybody that helped us here to build the summit for you all. So I hope you all enjoy. I'm going to share with you the agenda for today. So here is the team, as you already know, all of them that were working with us to build the summit. And here's the agenda. We are going to start with Gopi. Then we are going to have Paul Limbri. I'm not sure if everybody was here last year. I think most of you know, but Paul leads the global agency. He's the vice president of global agents and partners here at Google. Then we are going to have a coffee break, and then Marta is going to share her perspective with us. And then macro trends on agents business, and I think we are going to have a great discussion about it. And I hope you enjoy a lot, okay? Suriani, acho que alguns de vocês já conheceram também, que estava com a gente ali fora, vai contar um pouco também de perspectiva financeira, olhando para o negócio do Google e para o negócio de agências também, tá bom, gente? Finalizamos o dia com uma agenda focada em cloud, em Gen Media, Generative Media, com esse grande especialista aqui lá do Google, o Bernie, vem para estar com a gente, especialmente para esse evento. Espero que vocês gostem e que seja muito proveitoso, tá bom? Vou passar agora para o Gopi, aproveitem. Gopi, come to the stage. Thank you.
Well, we're getting set up. Let me get started. Good morning and welcome. Well, this is a group from Brazil, right? I need more energy. They're thinking, good morning, welcome to the Googleplex. I thought I was in the wrong group. Okay, let me give you a quick demo to show how quickly AI is actually changing and jumping surfaces. And when you do a live demo of new products in front of a big audience, what can go wrong, right? So let's give it a try. The weather doesn't look too good. Okay, Google, I am planning to go on a bike ride this afternoon. Do you think it's going to rain?
There is a 25% chance of rain this afternoon.
Okay, Google. Can you play Yamore by Salifa Keita, the Mo Black version from South Africa?
Play Yamu by Mo Black and Salim Keita on YouTube Music.
I thought you were going to get up and dance, right? Stop. Okay, Google, stop. So what you just watched was... Uh-oh. Okay, Google, can you stop? What you just watched is this amazing speed with which...
There's nothing to stop. The media is already paused and there are no active alarms or timers.
AI is moving forward. The speed with which AI is moving forward, where something like the Gemini model, fairly advanced, is now available on my watch, because that's what I was using. Okay, we've been able to, it's jumping surfaces. So this notion we had that even 18 months ago, AI means you go to ChatGPT and type a question and get an answer back in text is long gone, in that it is becoming multimodal. It deals with voice and images and video. It's also jumping surfaces. So I want you to think in terms of the behavior of your clients, consumer, whether it's Itaú Bank or Magalu or Unilever and Nestle. In a year from now, how will consumers behave when they interact with these products, when these kind of AI capabilities now lives on your watch? Could be on your dashboard, it could be on your refrigerator, it could be in your shoe, and the capability is going to change. And that's really going to be the crux of a lot of things that I want to show you and demonstrate today. So this, what I just showed you, I could not do 4 weeks before. This is so new. And it's publicly available. If you want to do what I did, go down to the Google store across the park, buy, say, the Pixel Watch, and you're now carrying around Gemini on your wrist and are able to have interactions with it. So how will consumers change the behavior is the key question. But then for you as agencies, the question is, how will you market to that AI-powered consumer? What will you advise your client? So to give you a flavor of that, I'm going to do something we call the AI test. Since you're all experts, I asked the Google room and they said, yes, you're all well-versed in AI and you are like top experts. So here's how the AI challenge is going to work. I'm going to play an ad that Google ran during Super Bowl this year. It was done by our agency using traditional methods. One of our agencies, partners, Hogarth from WPP, took the same ad that we created and then fed it into Google Veo 3 video generation tool and frame by frame recreated the ad, the exact ad, just as a fun project. And they brought it and showed it to us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play both those side by side, top and bottom. I want you to watch it and tell me which one is generated by AI and which one is using traditional methods. Since you've all had a long career in creating this kind of media, you should be able to spot it fairly quickly. You all ready? Okay. So top and bottom, you will identify for me which one was AI generated.
My grandfather taught me everything I know. Our little family businesses work their tails off.
We never miss a detail, and those things matter.
The legacy and the tradition and the craft, it's what I live by.
It's nice working with your family.
We're a two-person team. We're also busy moms.
The financial side can be very daunting.
If our schedule gets messed up, everything falls apart.
We don't have a lot of time.
We're not professional.
I have a tendency to be very worried.
Using Gemini has been a game changer. Gemini in Google Docs helps me write website descriptions.
AI allows us to make quick business decisions.
It translates everything live. It was magic the first time I saw this.
Gemini and Gmail really lets our staff save time drafting emails.
It makes my response more concise and so much better.
Mocking up a concept, we can do that in a matter of minutes.
We have time to keep doing what we love.
And it opened up the world to me.
This is a beautiful thing we're doing, and we're proud of what we do.
Raise your hand if you thought the top one was AI generated. And raise your hand if you thought the bottom one was AI generated. Okay. So I'll go with you. What's your name?
Adilson from Brazil.
What's the name?
Adilson.
Adilson. So Adilson, why did you pick the bottom one?
I think it feels like some images feel like AI generated.
Okay. So you're trying to guess based on it, right? But no definitive rules.
No.
And that's the point I wanted to make. And now, ma'am, you picked the top one, and Andrea, right? Yeah.
I think the same was
The top one? Okay. So I'll give you an answer, but before that, I wanted to point out that it's not that easy. Nobody has a definite way of like spotting. You're trying to guess, and you have a 50% chance of right. So when I give the answer, don't worry if it's not a test, and if you got it right, it's luck. It doesn't make you morally superior than the other person. It's the top one. And these are because it's the top one. There are some definite clues, actually. It's become so difficult that an entire field has now emerged called the forensic detection of AI-generated video. A professor at Berkeley is a leading researcher in that area. So it is going to become so much sophisticated at some point, none of us will be able to detect it. That is the level at which this technology is advancing. And if you want, what were the clues I'm looking for? There's one point, there's a woman wearing a t-shirt with a script written, and it's the mirror image is shown on the t-shirt. AI sometimes gets it wrong. At this point, 6 weeks from now, even that'll get fixed. So what is happening is...
Can we watch again?
Yes.
Watch again?
You want to watch it again?
Yeah.
Sure. Just to kind of... Okay, so this is the Super Bowl ad that we ran for promoting Gemini for small businesses. That is the premise of the ad. So you want to watch again at this time, just top and bottom. I'll show you some clues.
My grandfather taught me everything I know. Our little family businesses work their tails off.
We never miss a detail, and those things matter.
The legacy and the tradition and the craft, it's what I live by.
It's nice working with your family.
We're a two-person team. We're also busy moms.
The financial side can be very daunting.
If our schedule gets messed up, everything falls apart.
We don't have a lot of time.
We're not professional.
I
have a tendency to be very
Using Gemini has been a game changer. Gemini in Google Docs helps me write website descriptions.
AI allows us to make quick business decisions.
It translates everything live. It was magic the first time I saw this.
Gemini and Gmail really lets our staff save time drafting emails.
It makes my response more concise and so much better.
Mocking up a concept, we can do that in a matter of minutes.
We have time to
See that? This one, it flips out the image. That's one of the kind of clues. So there are some specific ones. Another one is where the water is coming up against gravity when it drops. The water drops, sir.
keep doing
Let it
what
be
we
done.
love.
And it opened up the world to me.
This is a beautiful thing we're doing, and we're proud of what we do.
Okay, got the idea. Now you're able to probably see it with a different kind of eye, right?
Can you show me the water again, Joe?
The water drop. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm learning too.
Businesses work their tails off.
We never miss a detail, and those things matter.
The legacy and the tradition and the craft, it's what I live by.
It's nice working with your family.
We're a two-person team. We're also busy moms.
The financial side can be very daunting.
If our schedule gets messed up, everything falls apart.
We don't have a lot of time.
We're not professional.
Yeah, you can see it. It's moving against the gravity. Yeah, it just went by. So what is really going on here is this capability of AI. We had a certain idea. it's gone on to take on more human-like capability. And I want to give you some more demo, except where did I keep my phone? No, the actual phone. I had it for the music.
Your phone, you wore with your watch, not with your phone.
No, but I had my phone with me as well.
That one.
Over there? Yes, I left it here. That's a slow, okay? So it is taking on human-like agent capabilities. So it's again gone from a tool that you use to get your conversations answered to now being able to have real live conversations like a human being. So let me give you a quick demo of that. And what I'm doing, all of the demos, by the way, is not something that's in the lab. These are publicly available tools. Your consumers are using it. You can download it from the Google Play Store and Apple Play Store and be using it. And the reason I wanted to make this point is that your clients' consumers are already moving ahead, adopting, trying it out, and they're living their life with these tools. So for example, what I'm going to demonstrate is Gemini Live. How many of you have it on the phone and use it every day? Okay. And I'm going to be a little provocative here. So right there, I only saw 2 hands go up. That's a problem because the Itaú customer or the Magalu customer or the Nestle customer is beginning to use it, the client, the consumer, and their understanding behavior, everything is going to change. So if you want to help your clients market to them, you need to walk in the shoes of the consumer. So here's an example of what I could do with that tool right now. In Gemini, I got a group of friends from Brazil here. They want to go to San Francisco and check out some music. What recommendations do you have?
San Francisco has a really vibrant music scene. To give you the best recommendations, could you tell me what kind of music your friends from Brazil are into?
Well, I was thinking maybe bossa nova.
That's a great idea. Bossa Nova has a beautiful, relaxed vibe. To find some good spots, I'll need to know if they'd prefer a dedicated jazz club or a restaurant with live music.
Great. Can you explain all this to me in Japanese, please?
サンフランシスコは音楽シーンがとても盛んなんです。最高のおすすめをするために、
So you see the versatility of this tool. It understands human language. It understands context. It's able to help you navigate, just like a human being. And it's so versatile. In a second, it could flip from speaking in English in an Indian accent to me to then speaking in Japanese. That is the remarkable capability these kind of models and tools are developing. But we've been asking the question, it's one thing to give information, but we humans, your customers, consumers, live in a real world with actual physical objects around it. And they need to interact with it. When they buy a car, when they use a credit card, when they buy shoes, they're actually interacting with physical things. Can we push the boundaries of AI to be able to understand the physical world around you and still help that user, that consumer navigate the world? So we've been testing this concept out, and I'll give you first a concept demo, and then I'll actually demo it on the phone. We showed this a few months ago, and in this case, I'm going to demonstrate a lab-based demo called Project Astra. And in this demo, a colleague of ours in the London office is doing an everyday task, repairing a bicycle. And you'll think it's a simple thing, but if you are a bicycle rider, you will realize very quickly the product can get very technical. And you need a lot of information that you need to pull together to repair a bicycle. But see how AI helps him do that by interacting with information on the web and the physical world around where he's repairing the bicycle. So here you go.
Hey, go online and look for a user's manual for a Huffy mountain bike.
I have found a user manual for you. What would you like to know about it?
Okay, cool. Now scroll until you find the section about the brakes.
Sure thing. Looking for that page now.
I think I stripped this screw. Can you go on YouTube and find a video for how to fix that?
Of course. I'm opening YouTube now. This looks like a good video.
Place a rubber band over the head of the screw.
Oh, nice.
Press down
Nice.
firmly.
Can you go through my emails with the bike shop and find which size hex nut I need?
Sure. According to the email from Bicycle Habitat, you need a 3/8" hex nut for your sprocket. I've highlighted the correct bin for you.
It seems like I need a spare tension screw. Can you call the nearest bike shop and see what they have in stock?
Yep, calling them now. I'll get back to you with what they have in stock.
I think my brake pads are wearing down. Can you check the manual again and see if it talks about them anywhere?
According to the manual, if you look on page
Hey.
24,
Do you want to get lunch?
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Can you finish what you were saying?
as I was saying, if you look on page 24, section 2, you'll see how to replace the brake.
So you can see what the tool is now capable of, or it could go look at a YouTube video and find a specific segment. It can call the store and see if the hex nut is available. It can jump into a section of the manual. And when he got interrupted, it even paused, like a human-like behavior, waited till the conversation finished, and then continued from that point onward. And these kind of things are no longer science fiction, but they're becoming part of the everyday AI tools we use. So let me now try to demonstrate this in the room itself with my phone. And again, what I'm showing you could be doing, your users or your customers' users are already beginning to use. So let's have it look around and see what it can see in the room. Hey, Gemini, what am I looking at?
It looks like a conference room or a large meeting space. Are you looking for information about an event happening there, or is there something specific you'd like to know?
Well, something specific. I want to eat healthy based on what my nutritionist told me. My friend Paul gave me these things to eat. Should I even be considering them?
Okay, let's look at what you've got there. You have a peach, which is a great choice. It's full of vitamins and fiber. The Cliff Bar is okay for a quick energy boost, but it does have added sugars. The food should taste good. Multigrain crackers are a better option than regular crackers, but keep an eye on the serving size. Do you have the nutrition information for these items?
No, it's okay. But how many calories do you think are in front of me?
Okay, so a peach has about 60 calories, the Cliff Bar has around 100, and a bag of multigrain.
So you get the idea, right? That's a fairly sophisticated question. Even most nutritionists would not be able to do it. Regular people would not be able to look at this and saying there's 60 calories. But this is now possible using these tools, and I operate in the physical world. Again, I want to make the point, imagine how consumer choices are going to change. And what does this mean now for your clients when you're trying to market it? Yes.
Can you point the camera to my face and say something about me? Like,
Okay. About who you are or your character?
Yes.
So when I get questions like this, I often don't know. What I say is, let's give it a try. And that's part of the reason why I said play around with these tools every day, because when you get a question, go try it and you'll figure it out. And that's the best way to learn and stay ahead of the technology. So what is your name?
It's wrong here. Please see, it's Marquez. But
Marquez, Livia.
It's Livia. Yeah,
okay,
Livia.
all right. So we're going to use Livia.
I'm very confident with that because something's going to put loud there, but that's okay.
No, it'll be fine. So yeah. So this work, it's an important question when you use this. How will consumers respond? So a couple of things I know for sure. It will not identify you in person. Okay. So that's one thing it does. It does not identify. General about other things, I'm not showing you what it does. And the other thing is generally it's been cleaned up for. There is a responsibility team that works on how these things are deployed. It will not do anything offensive. Okay. So, but let's give it a.
I'm confident about me.
Let's give it a try. Do I have the accounting permission to try this test? Yes. Okay.
Do I need to be like?
No, that's fine.
Like this?
Hey Google, I'm here with my friend Livia, and let's see. First of all, that blouse she's wearing is amazing. Do you think I could buy something like that similar from the marketplace?
That's a lovely blouse. It has a vibrant floral pattern with a mix of colors. You could definitely find something similar online by searching for women's floral blouse or floral print on. If you'd like, I can help you browse some options.
Are there any particular retailer where I can get it from? Okay, Gemini, are you there? Oh. Let me interrupt again and ask one more question. Hey, Gemini, are you listening?
God, I turned off.
Like I said, live demo, that's going to be a challenge, right? But let's give it a try. Nothing like, all right, one last right. Okay, Gemini, I am looking at my friend Livia. Can you see her?
Yes, I see Livia. She's wearing a colorful patterned shirt and a Google badge. How can I help you with her?
Well, based on her facial expression, do you think I could include her in my team and we could do business together? Okay, so it is refusing to answer that. And it's holding back, but normally it will also give me the reason why. Okay. But as you can see, play around with it and saying it's still very early, and 6 months from now, its capabilities will be very different. But that's a good question to ask.
Okay, thank you. It's amazing to think about that.
Seeds, right?
3 months, 6 months.
But going back to the question that I often get is, how fast will consumers adopt all of this technology? If this is moving so quickly, is it outpacing the pace at which consumers are willing to deal with this technology? So I'm going to, for me, I conduct this test. I ask people, it's one thing to say I use Gemini to buy a pair of shoes or any AI model to plan a dinner party. But the key question is, will you trust your life with AI? Raise your hands if you're confident at this stage, if you trust your life with AI. Anybody? Nobody, right? One person was hesitant and said, I'm not so sure.
Trust is too much.
It is a bit, will you trust your children's life with AI? That's a consumer question. Nobody, every room I ask, they'll say absolutely not. And yet, I'll show you what's going on. I do a psychology experiment in San Francisco. Whenever a friend is visiting, like I have one coming from Dubai tomorrow, I usually make them an offer. They said, I will take you to the most iconic sites in San Francisco, like the Golden Gate Bridge, on one condition. You're going to come with me in an AI-powered Google Waymo self-driving car. And every single time, 17 times I've tried it, every single time they've said yes, with actually great excitement, more than trepidation. And then 5 minutes into it, this is what happens. How many of you have ridden one of these cars that drive themselves? One person is? Yeah. And since you aren't Googlers accepted, since you're non-Googlers, since you're in San Francisco, I hope you try it at least once before you leave, because they're driving all around and anybody can hail them, or anyone you know locally can hail them. But here's a video I shot recently when one of my friends from Norway, Benja Stegelen, a business school professor, was here. She was here with the daughters, Ella and Vilde. I made the offer and they all enthusiastically got it. And then watch the first few seconds of the video.
So hello, if you're watching this video, this is coming live from San Francisco. You are seeing the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm in a Waymo self-driving car operated by Waymo, a member company of Google parent Alphabet. As you can see, there's no driver. We just left the Golden Gate Bridge and we are riding through central San Francisco, experiencing what the future of transportation will be. And I am riding here with my amazing friends, visiting from Norway. And there is first Ella, and there is Wilde, and there is Benja, all having an amazing time. Welcome to the future of transportation. No driver required, and one of the safest ways to get around, thanks to the amazing powers of artificial intelligence. And what is remarkable.
So what is going on here is the first 5 minutes or so, I see people excited. Every single time I've seen this, including these three women, and they take pictures and video to post on social media, etc. And then after that, they sit back and listen to the music and look out of the window. The normalization of these technologies in the consumer's life, I'm finding it astounding and stunning. There's the surprise, this element, there's a wow factor. Maybe it lasts a whole day and then it's gone. And then they're like, this becomes the new expectation. So here's my prediction. that your clients will be slow in adopting AI and they'll deliberate a lot. Should we do it? Should we invest? And they'll have many meetings with you. Should we use it for marketing? Should we use Performance Max? Your consumers are not. Your clients' consumers are not. They're going to drag the consumers with them. And a similar phenomena will exist where after consumers got used to, for example, Google search, every retailer website they would go to, the first expectation was high quality search. They would look for the search feature. And Amazon provided it, delighted the customer. Macy's did not, disappointed the consumer. The same thing, I predict, is going to begin to happen with AI-powered surfaces, where consumers will get used to the kind of things I showed you, and then want that from Itaú, want that from Mercado Libre, and if they're not getting it, it is going to set a disappointment gap. Now, I moved through a lot of content here, and with Waymo, for example, this was 3 months ago, already 10 million rights. These are publicly consumed consumer rights. 10 million rights is the equivalent of the entire population of Michigan or North Carolina having raised their hand and saying, yes, I'm willing to trust my life with AI, get inside a car that's being driven by technology, not a human. That's a pretty risky move with all the trucks and buses on the road. And yet consumers seem to have no problem in placing that trust. So what we are really witnessing, I call this session the beginning of a new era, is that once in 100 years, humans will come up with a piece of technology that completely changes the arc of civilization. An example of that is in 1440. For example, the printing press. Can you imagine what our life would have been if the printing press had not been invented? And 600 years later, it is still relevant. We depend on printed material. It is still part of our life. Or electricity. So foundational technology, found in 1752, if we just pause and look around, there are at least 15 use cases I can see of electricity. We don't even think about it, but if we turn off electricity in the world for 1 second, it'll completely bring to a crashing halt so many aspects of our life. And now, starting in 2023, we are lucky to be witnessing AI as another big shift. And it's happening in our lifetime while we are in the peak state of our career. So this should be exciting that you are at this amazing state in your career and this big revolution is taking place. In fact, we think AI is not simply another once in 100 years kind of revolution. It is probably the most profound innovation by humans, and it's going to change every aspect of your client's business and your business as well, whether it's a creative side, manufacturing, music, medicine. The challenge for you in the next 2 days is to ask it, how will I change my work, my team's work, my agency's work? How will marketing change? What will I talk to my client CEO about as I witness all of these interesting things? And part of the challenge for you, all of you, is to do that extrapolation. And I don't have all the answers, I will also admit. We all have to imagine. And like Livia was asking, so what if I hold this with a person's face? How will it react, respond? I don't know. Let's find out. And whatever answer I give you now is going to be completely wrong 6 months from now, because it's going to change again. So the only advice I have is try to learn it as quickly as possible, absorb as much, and then keep playing around with it and keep tracking as it shifts. Keep watching consumers, keep watching other companies, keep watching players like Google, and then you have to make your own thesis and keep testing it and experimenting it constantly. So if there's one word I would say I want you to leave with, it is extreme curiosity about what is AI, where it's going in the course of the next 2 days. I asked the team, should I demystify AI in a couple of slides by taking 4 minutes? Would you like that? And all of you have looked at it and studied it, but I still feel people have different understandings, sometimes the incorrect understanding. So can I take 5 minutes to just kind of set the understanding straight, so everyone in the room, because this will help you in the next 2 days. So what exactly is AI? Before I talk about AI, I want to talk about this very powerful human capability. We are the only species that have it, our superior NI, our natural intelligence. Humans are exceptional. We are the only species that build tools. And over 12,000 years, we built tools using our intelligence. And an example of that is this. It's a tool. It's a pen, a simple device. We don't spend much time thinking about it. But look at the amount of sophistication that has gone into this one tool. There's plastic, there's metal, there's branding, there's pricing. And most importantly, if I take this pen and start writing, out comes language. the only species that has developed it. It's such a sophisticated concept. Portuguese, Japanese, Hindi, Gujarati, etc. And depending on what I scribble, if you speak the same language, you either read my life story or you read a business plan out there. So we define at Google DeepMind AI very simply in one sentence as any computer system that mimics human natural intelligence. But it's not simply mimics, I would say mimics and amplifies human natural intelligence. And that word is significant because if we just leave it at mimic, there's a fear that most people have saying, will it take away my jobs? Does this mean I don't need a creative director or a media director? No, it actually mimics and amplifies your capability. And this amplification is important because this is what we do as humans. We build tools to amplify our capability. If you look at movement, motion, we learned to crawl, our ancestors did, then we learned to walk and then run, and then we hit our limits. There's only so far, so fast we could go, till some human invented a tool called the bicycle, where we still use the same legs that we use for running, slightly differently, and now we can go further and faster. But when it comes to cognitive capability, it's a very, very limited resource that we're dealing with. What is the agency you're with? And what's your name? Jellyfish? Okay, Jellyfish, right? So Fabiana from Jellyfish. So Jellyfish leadership team, let's say the creative leadership team is about 10 people. Let's make an assumption, okay, that you're dealing with. But I only have the cognitive capability of 10. What if I could give Jellyfish the cognitive capability of 100 people in the same 10? How would Jellyfish grow? This is what we're trying to do with AI. This is what the computer scientists at Google and other companies are trying to do. Amplify our capability. An example is take language translation. Do you have any language translator on this, like Google Translate? I don't need to use it. Yeah. So Fabiana, before that, probably spoke 2-3 languages and could communicate. But now with Google Translate, she can actually speak to 99% of the world's population in their original language. In 248 languages, she can now communicate, including languages she had never heard of, like Serehi, Guarani, Twi, Maitoni, etc. It has amplified her as a communicator, but we cannot replace her as a communicator. And that's what I want you to have an understanding. One more fundamental slide, super significant because of the mistakes your clients are making in adoption that I want to point out. So if it mirrors my cognitive ability, it mirrors both sides of my brain. Now, when neuroscientists say you're a right brain thinker, what are they talking about? What do right brain thinkers, what are they good at? Since your agencies, you should get this answer. More right brain thinking is creative, exactly. Yeah, more creative. Left brain is more analytical. You know, spreadsheets, numbers, etc. AI systems mirror both, and AI systems that mirror the left side of a brain are analytical AI systems, and the right side of the brain are generative AI systems. And the reason I want to put this definition is this word has become one of the most fashionable words to throw into a sentence. Generative AI. Everyone is looking at it because it is shiny, because it does pictures and images, etc. So you can point to it. It's exciting. And this is not getting the attention. However, I want to show you the economic benefits to your clients from both types of AI. According to McKinsey, where I used to work, a report that was put out actually by my first McKinsey manager, Roger Roberts, generative AI is supposed to add 3.3 trillion to the global economy in the next few years. A big number. What does it mean? It's roughly the size of the UK economy, which is 3.2 trillion last year. So we'll add one UK economy to the GDP of the world, which is good. More jobs, more activity. Analytical AI, the same report says, will add 11.8 trillion, almost 4 times, and yet very few people are talking about it. But for a lot of your clients, the actual benefits of the business will flow from this, because this deals with algorithms, machine learning, those kind of AI capabilities. So my ask is to not balance both sides and be aware, because you are the expert in the room and you're going to be advising. And while you still play with generative, also keep an eye on other kind of AI tools. I'll give you one example to illustrate that. Take Amazon.com. Amazon generates 35% of its sales through one salesperson, 35% of the sales. Now, I exaggerate when I say salesperson. It's actually an AI tool. It's an analytical AI tool, not generative, that drives 35% of the sales, because it's very numbers driven. And you know what that tool does? You all have used it without realizing it. When you go to Amazon, it sometimes nudges you saying, you may also like. People who bought this also bought this. That increases the cart size by 35%. And 35% of the sales is being driven by the analytical AI side. So between these two types of AI capabilities, and I'm simplifying it, you now have 4 tools in your toolbox. You can synthesize vast amounts of data, which is what Amazon is doing, which is what Netflix is doing when they recommend what's the next show you should watch, and they get it. And it works so well for them. The average time consumers used to take to find the next Netflix show to watch was 20 minutes. With synthesizing the data, they brought it down to about 2.5 minutes. Huge improvement. You can also make predictions. What will be the sales of orange pants in Southwest United States or soccer balls? You can also create content, which is what a lot of generative AI we're talking about, like the ad I showed you for in the AI challenge. And it can do conversations. And we saw several examples of that, whether it's human-like. So I want you to have a pretty good view that these are the 4 high-level capabilities you're getting from both sides of AI. And that ends the basic 101 education. Now we can dive a little bit more deeper in the next 15 minutes or so. It then is the question. So given I've shown everything, I always get this question from our client CEOs. So this is good, Gopi. What should my AI strategy? And I guarantee you're probably getting this question from your clients. Yes? Olivia is saying yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the wrong question.
It is the wrong question. And why did you say that, Olivia? Go ahead. Yeah, brilliant.
Because we need to understand what is the structure of a business from them. It's like in the past, they are asking us to do a viral, give me a viral. Remember this past now?
Yeah, this is not fair. She's cheating. She's read my slides already ahead of time. I didn't know what I was going to say. Okay.
No, but
yeah.
It's you. I know. I follow you. But
Okay.
I understand.
That's
No, let me explain. Before I was an agent, I was client for 25 years.
Yeah.
So that's my story. I cannot ask something for an agent without explaining my strategy. It's crazy to do that.
Brilliant.
And now that I'm on this positioning,
Yeah.
getting used it, which is very hard.
Yeah.
So I try to listen and I don't believe, why are you asking me the AI strategy? Explain your business to me.
Olivia is absolutely right. This is exactly my response also. Thank you. You're hired. Oh, she used to be a good. Okay. No wonder. There's unfair advantage here. So that's exactly what I tell them. I say, I refuse to answer the question. Instead, I want to know what's your business strategy. And then I'll say, I'll show you how AI can enable it. And this, what Olivia said, is super important because many customers are starting with the tool. They get caught up in saying AI can do this, and they chase the shiny object and are focusing on the wrong application. Like, oh, let's do it for customer support, or let's use it for video generation. All those are legitimate, but that might not be what moves the needle. When you change the conversation, you get a very different answer. And I'll give you an example. I was meeting with T-Mobile in this building a few months ago. Mike Sievert is the CEO. And I asked the same question to Mike. And when I posted this way, you know what he said? He said, Gopi, I have no problem with marketing. I can attract consumers to use my plans and buy my phones. We are very good at it. My problem is keeping them. They churn out a lot. And I need to keep each consumer for at least 24 months before I can recoup the cost of marketing. So what is your name?
Ricardo.
So if Ricardo, for example, is a T-Mobile consumer, when he's leaving, he just doesn't make the decision suddenly. Over a period of time, he stops dropping hints in the way he navigates the site, in the way he calls a call center. So Mike's ask was, if you can help me build an AI tool that stitches together all these different pieces of information that is sitting in my company and identify that Mike is going to leave in the next 90 days, I can do something to stop him. And if you give me that capability, he said, I will be way ahead of my competition because churn is the biggest problem in the industry. That is a much more strategic way of saying, how do we use AI to enable the business strategy or solve for a big business opportunity or problem? Great. I mean, you guys get it. This is exactly what. And if you walk away with this understanding alone, I guarantee you, you'll have much, much better conversation with your client CEOs. So then that begs the question, what is Google's strategy around AI, given that it seems to be doing so many things, self-driving car and this Gemini model, and it's building AI in the ad tools. So given that you're a partner, I want to make sure that when you leave this building, you have a good understanding of where Google is going with AI so that you can take full advantage of it and then serve your clients as well. So if we were to ask Sundar, our CEO, what exactly is the overall Google business strategy around AI, he would say, he hasn't actually said it this way, this is my interpretation based on watching a lot of his videos and interviews, etc. He'd say, we have three focus. We look at consumers, community or society at large, and companies. This is Itaú and Mercado Libre and Unilever, Nestle. And for each of these groups, we want to use AI to help them achieve the highest potential. So an individual consumer, user, a mom, a student is doing something about their life. How can they achieve the highest potential? Or when it comes to American Express or Toyota, they have a certain company strategy. How can we help them achieve the highest potential? Well, this is a lofty sentence. It sounds like a grand mission. What does it mean in actual practical terms? In actual practical terms, there are four things that are core to Google's strategy around AI. And the four being, first, when it comes to consumers, okay, your clients, consumers, the people who buy shoes, credit card, coffee, we want to create better consumer experience across all Google surfaces. So as you well know by now, Google has 15 products that are used by 500 million people or more. 7 are used by 2 billion people or more, like search, Gmail, YouTube. All of those are getting dramatically changed with AI being embedded. And I'll give you a couple of examples. This is going to change consumer behavior. Every time there's a platform shift, consumer behavior changes. For example, think of how our parents bought airline tickets or booked a hotel room when they were traveling. The browser changed it. You could go directly to the airline. Even better, intermediaries came in, like Orbitz and Booking.com. It changed behavior on airline travel. The phone changed it again, where we now use the phone not only to discover, close the transaction, but actually use it during the travel. It becomes our boarding pass. It becomes our check-in device. It becomes like a remote control to the world to call the car to take you to the airport. So the phone changed our behavior again around travel. AI is going to change it again. So consumer behavior is going to be dramatically altered because we're giving them AI capability in all of our products. Second, when it comes to communities or society, we try to solve for very big problems that exist out there that traditional methods have not been able to solve, like the self-driving car is an example, or in the case of human biology, something called protein folding, which was supposed to take 1 billion years to solve. We did it in 4 years, and that's why Googlers got the Nobel Prize for it. Now, the reason this is significant for you, let's say I'm an agency sitting here, why should I care about this? The reason you should care is to solve these problems. We push the boundaries of computer science. We have to solve it at a scale in which it was never done before. And when we do that, the advances in computer science flow to the kind of systems you care about, which is the ad system. So believe it or not, when we solve the self-driving car problem or the protein folding problem, somewhere down the line, you end up with a better ad system from Google because the technology is shared across the company. The third area is around companies. And this is your client. We are using AI for two goals. One is, how do we help your clients grow? How do you help you as an agency to help your clients grow the business more profitably? And this is all of the marketing tools we're bringing to market that are powered by AI. And the fourth area is, besides marketing, every one of your clients has other business operations, product development and risk assessment and manufacturing, logistics. We are working on building AI-powered tools to help those areas. So it's not only the CMO, but also the chief customer officer or the chief risk assessment officer. Across the board, all functions are being helped. So those are the four pillars. Given that I'm almost out of time, I'll take a couple of minutes to explain the consumer changes, super important for you, and the company's growth. Let me just do a quick time check with the account team. You have a separate session on marketing tools and growth, right? Google account team. Gustavo?
Tem uma sessão separada.
Then I'm just doing a time check. It's 10:15. How many more minutes do you want me to go?
5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10. We have a separate session on marketing and growth, right? In the agenda, I believe so.
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll spend less time on it. I'll show on the consumer side and maybe give you one example of the kind of possibilities with growth. So let's look at how we are creating consumer experiences and what that means. To take it at a high level, what we're doing is 27 years ago, we built something called a search engine, and that became the killer app on the internet because you could use to navigate the internet. But over a period of time, your consumer, so I'm going to make a fake consumer name. Let's call her Maria. Let's say Maria is an Italo consumer or a Magalu consumer. Maria's expectations and what we're providing to Maria's changed from search engine to we started giving fully formed answers, so she didn't have to spend too much time. It became an answer engine, to then a conversation engine where she could actually engage in back and forth conversation, to a decision engine where she could actually decide. And now we're building all Google consumer services are helping Maria work with what we call an action engine. It'll actually complete the action for her, not simply give her information. The best way to illustrate this is to go to a live demo. So let me switch to a live demo of what's happening now on Google search, so you understand that progression from search engine to decision engine all the way to action engine. So let me go to google.com. And let me start with a simple search. You can see here, we've got some search script here, so I'm just going to go grab it. So let's say Maria, this consumer we're talking about, is interested in doing a triathlon. A simple form of searches she might have done is bicycles, and you know this experience. You get all these sponsored ads, you get a lot of blue links about bicycles, etc. Right? So this is well and good. But let's say Maria wants something a little more involved as part of it. She wants to make a decision on whether she should race in an upcoming triathlon. And for that, she wants to know what kind of bicycle she wants to use. So she's now treating Google as like an expert. So she goes back and types in, how do I choose a good bicycle for a beginner triathlon? That's a query. And now see what happens. Besides the regular search results, sponsored, blue links, etc., right at the top, there's a fully formed answer that has been put for her. Google has done the Googling for Maria. And this is what I mean by answer engine. Okay. So this is now available to 1.5 billion consumers, and they're using it without even realizing they're actually getting a result from AI. And I want to point this out because there are other players that say we have so many people using our platform. But just by putting it directly on search, Google has actually made Google AI available to 1.5 billion consumers. But Maria might not simply want an answer. She wants to treat Google like she would treat a store assistant, which is have a conversation. So let's see how Maria would have a conversation. She says, she wants to make a decision. Now, she goes back to that search window where it says deep dive in AI mode, where she can ask more detailed questions. We're still in the search experience. Now she says, I'm shopping for a beginner triathlon. Create a table for me, including popular models from Felt, Canyon, and Quintana, including pricing and main features. A very specific question. She's now treating it like a personal assistant. And watch what Google search does in the context of the search experience. It's created a whole table for her. I'm still in search, but AI is now acting like a human assistant within the search context. And this is what we mean by we're going to change consumer services. So you see this? It listed price availability, gave me a table, and made a decision. Now at this point, Maria has clarifying questions. She says, oh, this is pretty good. Google actually understands me. So now she's going to ask a very specific question to the same search query. Now she types in, I hear disc wheels and aero bars of Band and Kona. Can I use your recommendation? This is a nonsensical question for most people. What does Kona mean here? Anybody have any idea? What is Maria referring to when she says Kona? We don't know, right? It started getting very specific. Okay, so if you are in the triathlon community, I'll explain. Kona refers to one of the most famous triathlons in Hawaii, in Kona, Hawaii. And that's what she's asking. In that particular triathlon, I understand I can use aero bars and disc weaves, a very technical concept. And now see how well Google AI responds within search. It understood it. It said, hey, it is a misconception that aero bars are banned at Kona. Regulations primarily restrict. So now the answer has got very, very sophisticated and unique and specific to Maria's needs. This is what I mean by we are changing that consumer experience by putting AI. The same things happening on YouTube, the same things happening on my Pixel Watch, on Chrome, Android, Gmail, etc. I want to show you one more final thing about that consumer experience, which, as I said, we are moving from simply giving answers to actually helping the consumer complete the action, shop for a pair of shoes, etc. So let me try the kind of search. Let me see if it'll show up here. So I go to google.com and type in the thing that is very usual for people on the weekend. I want a haircut, so I'm looking for a hairstylist near me. Okay. And you get a bunch of these kind of results, right? Now, what you want really is not to know which are the salons and where they're located. You want an appointment. You want to go get your haircut done. So switch to slides because I did it for you yesterday and captured for you. So search for hairstylist and it gave me a bunch of things in Mountain View. But right in the search result, we added this feature. It's called Ask for Me. And you, Google, just do the calling and asking around. And they say, yeah, go ahead. And then if I click on it, it'll ask for some additional questions. Are you looking for a haircut? How much do you want to pay? Do you want to blow out? Bunch of services. You answer those questions. It has the information like a personal assistant. And then I get this message on text and Gmail saying, hey, Gopi, we found one. Bella or Villa Salon is willing to see you and they have an appointment. You want me to make it? So you can see how it's gone from just giving you information to being useful in your life. And we don't have time. Otherwise, I'd have shown you other demos where I can ask one of the tools we're building, Project Mariner, to say, hey, go to the Mercado Libre site and find me the top 3 rollerblades for a 6-year-old for a birthday party. It'll actually go in. If it needs to log in credentials, it asks for it, and they'll complete the task and come back to you. And so you can imagine how that kind of experience will become endemic as part of that whole consumer experience. Switching is very quickly. This raises a challenge. How do you market to this AI-powered consumer, which is what a lot of things we'll talk the next 2 days are. So I'll give you the top-level view of how Google's thinking about it, which is, I'm going to jump to this concept. How do you help your clients drive business growth using AI as the enabler with the work you do in terms of campaigns and marketing strategies, etc.? The way Google is looking at it is, if you look at a CMO of Itaú, for example, there are 8 things she has to worry about, starting with research, understand the consumer, planning marketing, planning campaigns, creating the assets where you help a lot, executing them, optimizing and measuring the results, and then see what the customer experience is. Did you create a sticky customer? And what are the people and teams that you needed? Very simple level. This is what a CMO's priorities are usually. Of these, if you look at it, you see you play a big role in many of these areas. You are part of the research. You might be part of the marketing planning, definitely campaigns. You create assets. Your teams deploy the assets on media. You look at the results. And then sometimes you might be involved in long-term customer engagement programs, etc. We are asking the question, how can we use AI across all of these, to really make the life of agencies and customers better? What should we be building in terms of AI tools? Central to all of that are 3 areas. Can we make the creative process better? Can we make the media deployment more efficient using AI, using analytical AI primarily? This is using generative AI. And then we build AI tools to measure the results. So I'll just give you one example of what is now possible and then end with that. Or 2, if you ask for 2. I'm going to show a Mondelez example. So Mondelez has a big market in India for Cadbury's chocolates. I'm going to show you how they use AI to to actually not generate, but make the creative run very differently from what they'd done before. In India, there's a festival called Diwali. And during Diwali season in November, Indians traditionally give handmade, homemade sweets to each other, said to greet each other. But now that the pressures of modern life, no one has the time, people have switched to box sweets, and they even switched to box sweets that are not part of the Indian tradition, like Cadbury's chocolates. So Cadbury's knows this well, that it's big chocolate selling season in November in India. They have 70% market share. So every year for Diwali, they run a campaign. They'll use a Bollywood star and make that person talk to the camera and say, this Diwali, buy a box of gift chocolates and give to your loved ones. 2 years ago, they worked with their agency and came to us and said, in the age of AI, can we create custom creative where when Fabiana watches it, it seems like the ad talks to her directly based on some things we know about her, and can be non-personal information like geography. Like if it's raining, where she's based on the zip code, we can have one conversation. If it's sunny, we have a different conversation with Livia. That was the concept they came with. So they did it with Shah Rukh Khan, the top Bollywood star. They record him once, and then AI generates tens of thousands of versions. So depending on who's watching it, based on the zip code, geographical location, the ad may change and may say, why don't you buy the box of gift chocolates from the Safeway stores in Miraflores or from the Nob Hill in Redwood Shores? It's just slight difference, but each person feels customized. So let's watch the execution.
We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाली चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। पास वाले आजकल फैशन से ही, रॉयल फैशन से ही, एनके क्लॉथ्स से ही, पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास।
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer, showing them only the nearby stores. But it is impossible to cover all the stores. So we gave the power to the people to create their own version of not just a Cadbury ad. Any small business owner could promote their stores through their own social media networks like WhatsApp forwards and other social media pages.
So this is an example of that amplification I mentioned. We still need the agency and the creative brains to work and develop this campaign, but using AI, you do things very differently. Just to give you a sense of what kind of success they saw, thanks to this campaign, they saw a 35% increase in sales. That as this whole thing went viral and it caught India's imagination. I'm going to close this off with one final thought, and thank you for giving me 10 minutes to go over. The question I want you to leave with any client that you meet with, this is the question I want you to be asking the CEO, the CMO. What is the biggest opportunity for Magalu, substitute Magalu with Itaú or Volkswagen or whomever you're working with, that AI could enable? Can we sit and brainstorm it, like Livia said? Start with that, and then start a process of experimenting and iterating. Nobody has the right answers. It's still early. But I'd rather you experiment and play around with it so that the capabilities of the agency becomes better, so that you are the smartest AI person in the room compared to even your clients. And you can only get there by a lot of experimentation. This is how we did it at Google. And this is my invitation to you. Go back to that curiosity and that spirit of experimentation. I'm super excited. It's 12 months from now when I meet the kind of campaigns you'd have created in Brazil for your clients with AI at your fingertips. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopi. So my name is Mike Z. I have the pleasure to facilitate for you today and tomorrow. So in between all the sessions, you'll see my face come up, and I'm going to try to help you make sense of everything. I've been with Google for 15 years. And I'm a design thinker. This means I'm using human-centered frameworks to help leaders like you find the right problems to solve. And why is it so hard in this time to find the right problems to solve? Does anybody have an idea?
Behaviors are changing so fast.
Yeah, that's very right. Consumer behaviors are changing super fast.
Sometimes we don't know what they want, so it's hard for us to understand what other things.
There's a lot of unknowns up front, that's right. Anybody else?
There are so many new solutions.
Yeah.
Appears every day, so it's
Exactly.
hard to choose and to apply it because it's changing a lot.
That's right. And there's new solutions every day. So even if you find the ones that are true today, in a month or two, they'll change again.
The way that we do things right now is not the way that we need to do in the future.
Exactly. We always say that what got you here probably doesn't get you there, right?
So many technologies out there.
Yeah, that's right. So much technology out there. So these are all, you're all right. You're all right. And one of the things is that we're talking about technological adoption, right? So when it comes to tech, we observe exponential growth. So things take a month right now to solve, and in the next month, you're going to solve way more things than the month before. If you have a year to solve something, then the second year, you're going to solve way more problems. That's exponential growth. Now, the bad news is that humans are really bad at understanding exponential growth. So bad, in fact, there's a term for it, exponential growth bias. We, as humans, are really bad at this. And I can give you a quick example. If you imagine a large lake, and on this lake is one lily pad, this flower, and they double each day. So on day 2, you have 2 lily pads. On day 3, you have 4 lily pads, then 8, etc., right? So I'm giving you one information, and that is after 60 days, the lake is full of lily pads. How long does it take to fill half of the lake? 60 days to fill the pond, they double each day. 59 days, that's right, correct. So it takes 59 days to fill half of the pond. On the last day, it doubles, right? So how long does it take to fill 1% of the pond? Just 1%. 3 days, 4 days, any guesses? Nobody can do the math, it's just a guess.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tell you. It takes 54 days to fill just 1% of the pond. That means in the last week of this lake's life, it goes from 1% to 100%. This is how exponential growth works. So it's really hard to understand what are the 1%, the small signals that you need to pay attention to, because they're going to explode in the last week. So you might think in 2 years, AI hasn't made much progress, right? But in 10 years, you're going to be all surprised how much we've come. When I started at Google 15 years ago, I could have not imagined sitting in the back of a self-driving car like Gopi showed. I took one this morning from the hotel here. It's normal now for us. This is how exponential growth works, and that's why we need to pay attention to these small signals. We need to have a discussion in your organizations and with your clients. What are the things we want to pay attention to? So that's what I'm here to do today and tomorrow, to help you figure that out. And to do that, I'm going to ask you 2 questions after each of these presentations. The first question is what, meaning what resonated with you? What are the key takeaways? And we want to have a little bit of a discussion, what you all heard, so you can profit from each other as well. And then the other question is, so what? So what is more important because it helps us understand what changes do you plan to make, what actions do you plan to take based on that information that you learned. And nobody knows what's going to happen in 5 years. Nobody knows what's going to happen in 10 years, but we can have a robust conversation around that. So what and so what, these are the 2 questions. So I want to start, we're going to do it a little quicker here for Gopi, but we're going to have a little bit more time later. So what are the key takeaways from Gopi's talk? What resonated with you? What are you going to take home? What did you write down?
Ask first about the business strategy before receiving the demand.
Right, yes.
Stop the client and then, okay, make a job first.
Exactly. Don't start with technology, start with what are they trying to solve for. That's very good, yeah.
We are talking about like the consumer experience are changing, but the client does not see that. So we need to open the client mind for the new ways of searching, of interaction and actions that Google can provide for it.
That's right. And that might be a good so what. The question for you, how might we educate and help our clients understand what's coming next, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Anything else that resonated from Gopi's talk?
I think there's something that was some way there. It's about this. We always forget, like, a brand is in the world to help people get better, to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
So AI is really here to potentialize these things. I think it was written in the community point of view. So we always have to remember this, because it's not about just selling. It's really about what is your pain, what are we going to solve on consumers' lives, because private companies are here to really improve people's lives.
Yeah.
Much better thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also what the Gopi showed, the printing
Yeah.
press and electricity, how that completely changed societies. That's how we should think about this. Very good. One more point that you took away from Gopi's talk.
I think the opportunity within analytical AI compared to
Generative AI,
yeah, which is much higher and probably not a lot of places are looking into that space.
Yeah, it's a little less attractive right now because everybody likes to talk about Gen AI and something that you can see right away, but there's so much potential in analytical AI. Very good. All right, so now we're going to take just 1 minute, and I want you all have these posted. Some people are already writing on it. Let me know if you need more, but I want you to take a minute and write down one thing, one action that you're going to do based on some of this information that Gopi gave you. What's one change you're going to make, or something you're already doing and that you just got confirmed? So one thing you're going to do, an action, when you go back to your agency. So I'm going to give you a minute. We're going to play some music, and then I want to hear you back. All right, so let's just hear 3 ideas for Gopi's talks. For Gopi's talk, what is an idea that you got, an action that you will take when you get home?
Consolidate more the AI foundation on my agency.
Yeah.
That it's really, everyone is trying to do something, and I think that I have more clear view about that and what I want to do.
Yeah.
Getting my life better and
Yeah.
my client's life better.
Perfect.
It's a start.
How are you going to do that? Are you going to assemble a task force, like a group of people that?
So I think that we need to try to do like an education for everyone. Talk about that, think about what problems we have as an agency.
Yeah.
I think that we need this conversation at all. Like,
Yeah.
live work is going on and we are missing this stuff.
Perfect. Can I have your post-it?
Yeah, it's not my, it's so.
Your handwriting?
Right.
Figure it out.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Who else has a takeaway? Just 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, I would like sit down with your teams and talk about seeing AI as an enhancer or a multiplier.
Yep.
And not as a tool that can take your job away or something.
Yep.
I mean, everyone needs to see that you can do better, you can do more stuff using AI. So just propagate this kind of safety side of things that we have there.
Yeah. That's really important. Can I have your poster too? The Gopi spoke briefly about that, how AI can be seen as enhancing the human potential and not like replacing what you do. And I can give you a quick example. when you think of an idea, you have an idea here. It takes time to like produce this idea, so do something about it. And then you have a section to refine that idea. So let's say you write a marketing plan, you have to sit down, write it, and then you can look at it, you can talk to other people, and you can refine it. What AI is effectively doing is shortcutting this. So you can go write a prompt. This is something you probably already do, and then you have an output, and that might not be as good as what you would have written, but you can quickly refine this idea, and you can do way more iteration cycles in a shorter amount of time. So instead of working on something for a long time, you can have somebody produce an output right away, and then you can refine it and refine it, and that helps you enhance your human potential. You can use the people that you have in your agency to produce way better output, more cycles in the same amount of time. You can produce ideas faster, and you can get to better outcomes that way. Okay, one more idea, and then we'll continue. One more action that somebody's going to take. Yes.
Discuss even briefly with my clients, so what should we start using AI to empower their business KPIs? So even briefly, because we know about AI, but we still know how to apply this daily to our business or their business.
Yeah.
So creative is one point, but what else besides creative?
Yeah.
So I think that is a good question or starter.
Yeah.
At this point, you have to review the class.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I have your post-it too? So one note about this, Carla, is we often look at AI as just technological capability. So, you know, when you use Excel, it can do certain things where you can calculate a summary. But AI is often better seen as skills. So what are the additional skill sets you're gaining? Because it's almost like having more employees, right? So asking your client, what if you had 10 more people making assets, right? What would you do with that information, with that capability? And thinking of it more as like additional human skills, additional human resources that they have, and then thinking about what can you do with that to help solve their problems.
But start the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, start that conversation and keep having that conversation too, because like we said earlier, things change so fast that if you have that conversation today, it's going to be different than 6 months from now. All right, perfect. So I'm going to keep asking you these two questions. What did you hear? What resonated with you? And so what can you do about it? And what might you take home with you? But now I'm going to get out of the way and introduce Paul Limbry, our VP for Global Agencies and Partner.